faces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down. Sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. In sympathy.
Evening. We are going to talk tonight about the iconic 91 team, the team that went so close to being invincible. And unfortunately, a couple of things happened that stopped us from doing that. And of course, it was the amazing football season where Arsenal played all those games. The FA Cup run against Leeds United, 4 replays. It was quite iconic season all in all. Kenny, how you doing, mate? Welcome aboard. And how you doing?
I'm doing really great. I've done a podcast with Dan yesterday. Really enjoyed myself. I did 2 podcasts. I did a boxing one with Lady Chan as well. Good to be a bit of boxing. Monday was really busy. Did one with Lee, and I did a show with Gal, and we actually did a private show where we discussed Arsenal's best players, and somehow all 4 of us managed to leave out Gabriel Martinelli, which says quite a lot that, probably not too sure that he's in that sort of best player status. Maybe he's in and out. But I'm really looking forward to this show because this is a team that I believe is the second greatest team. I do believe that Arsene Wenger's team of 2002 double winning side surpasses this only. This team is better than the Invincibles, in my opinion, but we'll go for it and prove it by having a discussion.
Fact. I actually tend to agree with you on that. Dal, how you doing, mate? You're back and buzzing. You're back to full health, and it's
Yep.
See you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today. And good to see you too, Kenny Ken. Legend as always. And in 1991, I was a junior in high school. I was probably about 17, and I had no clue what Arsenal FC was.
Fair enough. Don't matter.
Advertising of English football back in the States back then is mostly Maradona and the U.S. national team, which was absolute dog shit, as we all know at the time. So I'm kind of here just to sit in with the boys and say hello to the chat and just kind of learn, because I know some of the team members. Obviously, I know some of the history in 91, 2002, etc. But I didn't really become a full-fledged Gooner till around 99. So I got to say that, I'm here for educational purposes.
No worries, man. No worries. That's what we aim to do. But it was an amazing season. We started off with some iconic players that had come into Arsenal Football Club. Debuts for David Seaman. I've forgotten about that. David Hillier, Andy Cole, and Andy Linnigan, and of course, the Super Swede Anders Limpar, who went on to be an absolute icon at the club. I'd forgotten that this was the season that David Seaman made his debut. Seriously.
Yeah.
John Lukic had gone, or was going, and David Seaman had come in. It was like a turnaround sort of situation. And the season couldn't have started any better. 17-game unbeaten run. Kenny, I'm going to come to you first on this, right? We played away at Wimbledon, 3-0. Great result. Nice start. We then went Luton Town at home, 2-1 win. And then Spurs, early London derby. It was a 0-0. And then that was at home, that first game, 0-0 Spurs. And then it was Everton away, another draw. And then, of course, Chelsea at home, 4-1. Limpard's first goal,
Yes, right. That's right.
Go on, mate. It was a great 17 games unbeaten.
But actually, ironically, the first 11 games, there were 3 teams unbeaten during that in the 1991 season, 1990-91 season. Arsenal unbeaten, Spurs were unbeaten, and Liverpool unbeaten until Spurs lost to Liverpool at White Hart Lane 3-1. And then it was us and Liverpool who went on that unbeaten run. So it was a case where it was a great start for Arsenal, but it's also a great start for Spurs. Because I think you can't talk about 1991 without talking about what preceded it. You know, we had the World Cup Italian 90, so English football was kind of on a high, you know. We actually, I think we revert. No, I think we might have reverted. You know, we didn't. You know, Sheffield United got promoted. Notts County got promoted as well that season, and you know there was the Gazza. Gazza, which was absolutely crazy. It was bombastic. You know, it was on every TV station. You know, England got to the semi-finals of the World Cup, first time since 1966. So there was a, big love of football during that period. And also we had the situation with Tony Adams as well in the summer before that season started, where he missed out on the World Cup. He was chosen, he was left out for Mark Wright because Bobby Robson said that Mark Wright is better than the ball. Tony Adams was with his mates, got absolutely hammered. We know the rest. Gets in a car crash. Little did we know that incident that summer was going to have an effect on our season. But it was one of those, situations where we like I said, the season before we finished fourth after we won at Anfield, and it was kind of a bit of a whimper. You know, we're doing well, for most of that season. Then we lost a couple of games, Spurs and Everton, and then our season went in a bit of a free for all. And then obviously we lost at Anfield, and then it was never really the same. But this season, I think we came back with a much better attitude, as you mentioned. David Seaman, remember months before, David Seaman and John Lukic were meant to do a swap. John Lukic was meant to go to Queen's Park Rangers. David Seaman was meant to come the other way, but John Lukic didn't want to go QPR, so he kind of scupped the deal. So those were really, really good memories. But, I knew we were going to see something different. That first game against Wimbledon, where we played really well, we battered them. But, it is with our games against Wimbledon, we had quite an interesting kind of games with them. Like, they were like the crazy game. They're hard men, hard, fierce, harsh men. Dow, I'll tell you now. If you were doing a film about football and tales the unexpected, well, look no further than that Wimbledon side. Their Wimbledon side had the smallest ground. Their players were probably the lowest paid, yet they punched above their weight for all the years they were in the top flight, not just in the first division, but also the Premiership. Everyone hated playing in Wimbledon. Everyone hated that side. Fash, Vinnie Jones, all Dennis Wise. I think Dennis Wise just left there by then, but still had the usual characters. Wimbledon was a horrible place to go, horrible team to play against. But if we got through Wimbledon, I just thought something's different happening. I thought we could change for the league, but I never thought we'd win it because Liverpool were champions. I thought Liverpool might take it away.
Fact. Lee, welcome, mate. Just started talking about that 91 season, one of my favourite teams ever. I agree with what Kenny says. The 98 team was legendary in my book. We started, Lee, with a 17-game unbeaten run, went into that. And then, unfortunately, we came up against Man United in the League Cup, and they absolutely stuffed us 6-2.
6-2
at Highbury. Yeah. Remember that one, mate? Embarrassment, shocking, disgrace.
Not the first time they've pumped 6 past us, is it?
That's true. That's true. That is true, man.
Didn't we play Liverpool after that at home?
Yeah. 3-0.
Yeah, I was going to say, but this is the thing, yeah. Like, sorry, I was late, by the way. I just done 2 hours with Flawless. we run over a little bit. So apologies for that. But I've just shared it to the community, so hopefully we get a load of people in there as well to boost it up as well. But do you know what I remember about that season? Because I was only young. Yeah, I was only little. Yeah, and I'd only really just started getting into football, like maybe 5 years old, 6 years old, and I was like 87 season. So I was kind of young when it was 91. We're going to school. Everyone at school was Man United. Yeah, and a few Liverpool. Didn't see any Spurs fans. Still don't anymore. Like, I don't know where they're all congregating. Maybe in Tottenham. Maybe that's where they're. Maybe a bit like Newcastle. Only in Newcastle and that. Yeah, I'm joking. Before anyone kicks off. But you know, it was crazy. It was like the kids at school. Like, I don't know if they still do this hyping in school nowadays. Like, everything was football back then. Like, so even at 9 years old, even though it wasn't on telly all the time, like everyone was talking about the results at the weekend. And like, I genuinely, I remember the 6-2, but I don't remember how that went at school. Like, I can't remember that, like, whatever. But I remember that season, yeah. And I don't know whether we spoke about it or not, but everyone was gassed. Like, so I had quite a lot of Arsenal fans in my class, and everyone was like, "Oh, that Paul Merson, like, you know, Paul Merson." Everyone was hyped, yeah. And because we started off that season without losing, 13 games, 13 games, wasn't it?
17.
Sorry, 17 games. Yeah, everyone was like, "Yeah, Arsenal are going to win it." All the Man United fans were like, "Yeah, we want you to win it, Like, still don't like Liverpool, obviously, yeah. But then we went and got spanked by Man United. Yeah, and I genuinely can't remember like how that went in school. Yeah, but I remember when we got later down the road towards the end of the season. I know you want to go step by step, mate. The whole school was Arsenal by then because they were all on our side. Like, literally, yeah. I think there was about 5 Liverpool fans in my school. Yeah, it was only a little school at the time, middle school. Yeah, but not even middle school. Yeah, it was first school. But yeah, only about 5 or 6 Liverpool fans. I remember there was what's his name, man? What's his name? I can't remember his name. F knows. I can't remember his name. Yeah, but his whole family were Liverpool, and they lived 2 doors down from me. What's his bloody name? Can't remember. Yeah, and they were like, "No, we're going to win the league. We're going to win the league." Yeah, my mum and dad were just, but no, my mum and dad don't really follow football. Yeah, but they used to buy me all the kits. Like, so I'd go out and play football with their boy. What was his blooming name? Rizwan. Yeah, we used to go and play football over the park. Yeah, and we'd all pretend we're the players and that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if kids do that anymore. Like, do kids do that anymore? Is it jumpers for goalposts anymore?
No, ironically, you know, it isn't now. I think kids nowadays they got the real thing. Well, for them, the closest thing they got is by going on their sort of, you know, PlayStation or something where they can actually manage these players and set these players up. I think
Twitter where they can talk about them.
Yeah, I think that's what's happened with football nowadays is that jumpers for goalposts stopped. You know, when kids got computers where they can actually, you know, like pretend to be the players on a you know, Game Boy or, you know, a PC. Whilst now another thing, because let's get it right. All these people saying, you know, they're closing a lot of playing fields. That's why we don't see people playing football. Look, a lot of people who grew up around, you know, North London, all over the country, people playing in the street. If you lived in a housing complex, you'll find somewhere where there's space, and you just made goals for yourself and played either headers and volleys, or played. There was always
used tree trunks as a goal.
Exactly. There was always a way to try and play football, you know, and even in the school playground, you know, you play, you know, your 15 minutes or half an hour, everything you got was playing football. So
you had rush goalie, wouldn't you? You rush goalie.
Yeah, rush goalie, everything. But you know, we don't have that now. That's probably why a lot of kids are not fit now. They're very unfit. You know, every time they play football, is if they play it competitively, they're good at it. You know, if they play for a school or club or professionally.
True. Gal, I know. You said you were only a very young little one.
Older than Lee, though. But
I'm the baby.
You're a baby, mate. So good.
You know, obviously making me and Kenny feel very old. Thanks for that. You know,
that's Gunner's fault.
That particular season, I didn't miss a home game, home or away, and so it's a very vivid one. It's one of my favourite teams ever that I've been privileged to see. But the fact is, we had an amazing team and we had an amazing manager. Now, this is where, right, the amazing, legendary back four really came to fruition, right? With the back four we had, central defenders, Adams, Bold. Then we could mix up the two right backs. It was something else. I mean, I'll come to you on this one. Obviously, our biggest win that season without conceding a goal was Aston Villa at home, 5-0. But the goalkeeper, David Seaman, right, was an amazing goalkeeper when he came, but he just improved incredibly. That season, right, he went unbeaten he didn't concede a goal in so many games.
Jeez.
And he just got better and better. I mean, just give me your opinion. I mean, I know you weren't able to.
Sure.
But David Seaman, man, what a legend of a goalkeeper.
Well, what you guys are really explaining is the mentality back then, the quality in players that we had then. And there wasn't such a drop in quality from the bench to the starting 11 is really what I'm hearing from you guys. And like you said, it was David Seaman's first year, and he went on to be an iconic keeper, ponytail and all, He, from the highlights I've seen from the 91 season, 98, et cetera, 89, and so forth, the mentality of the team, it's like you can see the fight in the players. There's no flicking of hair. There's no falling on the ground. You can just see it. Even in the YouTube clips, there's just a rawness about the game back then that never really translated to America until many, maybe a decade later. But back to like David Seaman, it's like we still haven't had a keeper that good yet. You could probably say Jens Lehmann, I think, would be next in line, if you keep moving forward. But there was a certain fight you could see in those players, like I said before, like Tony Adams, Steve Bold, like Winterburn, Lampard doing his thing. So it's not like I know these players as well as I know the players now or from just 10 years ago, but I think is kind of responsible as an Arsenal fan to go back, learn a little bit about the history, especially some of the top seasons. I mean, 11 games straight. If we won 11 to 17 games straight now, that would just be like completely off the scale. I can't think of any other fan base that would say Arsenal wouldn't win the league if we won 11 to 17 games straight, like you guys said. And look at the ownership group you guys had then. The fan base back then would seem so much more passionate. It's just the real diehard fans really were through that era. From what I've seen, like I said, from YouTube videos and from other resources and just kind of read books and magazines and so forth off and on, is that there's just, we look good now, but the players, just the rawness of the players back then, they seem like pretty boys now. And the game, of course, is a lot different. It's like Lee's always said, it's pace and power, but it just still seems like there's a fragility with a lot of these players now that we probably didn't have, 20 or 30 years ago. So I don't know. I enjoy watching the clips, especially the 89 season with Thomas at the end. And I've learned so much, obviously from you three and everybody in the chat as well. So again, my only question was, when did our rivalry with United really take hold? Was that more in the 80s and the 70s, or was that during the 91 season? Was that kind of the threshold of the Arsenal versus United?
You know when I think it started? I think it started when David Rocastle got sent off at Old Trafford in '87 when he kicked Norman Whiteside. George. There was a bit of a bundle in '87, and then from then on, George Graham defending Arsenal, Sir Alex defending Man United. And I think that was it. I made it on Arsenal because the season afterwards, Winterburn went in McClare's face when he missed a penalty, and then there was another bit of trouble with McClare when we drew 1-1 with them.
He weren't so brave against Di Canio, though, was he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that incident, with Rocastle, God bless his soul, David Rocastle, and David Rocastle and Norm Whiteside. That was it. That's when the kind of the rivalry started. I marked that because before we didn't really have a rivalry with Man United as such.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Because under the Martin Keown and Van Nistelrooy, of course, and all that drama.
There was a lot of
several years later
against United back in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean that 79 Cup final.
Of course, definitely.
There was a lot going on at that one. But, I mean, this is a great point that Steve's brought up here. The Old Trafford bust-up, the 21-man brawl. That was something else. I mean, we started it. We did start it, and it was an absolute unbelievable one of the biggest kickoffs on a football pitch I've ever been in my life. Being there at the ground at the time was quite spectacular. I won't lie. And
it was probably better to watch than the game.
It was. The game was actually pretty crap. I mean, let's remember, the point I'm trying to put across is this was a great team, but this was the 1-0 to Arsenal crew. This was the iconic 1-0 to the Arsenal. And that night at Trafford, right, and it all went tits up. We lost 2 points. They lost a point. Kenny, I mean, there was a lot of shithousery going on that night from both teams.
Oh, definitely. You know what a lot of people seem to forget. We actually won that game 1-0 when Limpar actually scored from a cross shot, which Les Seeley went over the line. Les Seeley tried to do the dodge, trying to push it over the line. A lot of people don't realise we actually won that game 1-0, and it all started with Dennis Sermon was trying to sort of like shield the ball. Anders Limpar's gone in really late on him. Dennis Sermon's has gone for him, and then all of a sudden Arsenal players came up. Man United players went in on Limpar. You could see David Rocastle had hold of Brian McClare. You could see Points, going, come on, as Points always does. And it was funny because you could actually see Points shove Anders Limpar, and he falls right into the advertising hoardings. And then they're all pushing and giving it out. Everyone says it was like a punch up. It was just handbags, people grabbing each other around the throat, people getting pushed. Anders Limpar ending up on the floor. Points, screaming and shouting. The iconic photo was when David Rocastle went for a bit more. You could see Les Seeley getting David Rocastle in a sort of defensive bear up and saying, "No, you're not going," holding him back. It was brilliant to watch because I remember the season before that we had the one with Norwich when we beat them 4-3 when they were beating us. They were, I think, 2-0 up, and then Dave O'Leary actually scored his first goal in years for us. And then we had that brawl, and that was just pushing as well. When Alan Smith went to get the ball out of the net and he got elbowed, and that was a bit of a brawl. But this one was better because the do-gooders got involved, isn't it? People say it's the most shocking thing we've ever seen.
Was that the start of cancel culture, Kenny?
I would have thought so, yeah. They're actually debating it on, every, even on the news, they were talking about it. They're even talking about it. I think they were even talking about it with some politicians about what a bad situation it was. And then, that we had the press conference when Arsenal fined George Graham 2 weeks' wages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, George Graham got fined 2 weeks' wages.
Oh, yeah, he made that back later down the road, though.
Yeah. and then the FA got involved.
I'm going to come to that.
The FA got involved, and then but you know what? Moving forward, you go to the parade when we win the title because obviously we all know what happened. And the best thing I heard was Paul Merson gets the mic. We're at the Town Hall, and Paul Merson goes, "Stick your 2 points, stick your 2 points, stick your 2 points up your ass." Yeah. Trust me, Paul Merson did at at the parade, Paul Merson got the mic and started singing that. We were
Yeah.
all running around and laughing.
Sorry to cut in. I googled a second ago the average age of that Arsenal squad in 1991. Yeah, the average age of that squad was 25.6 years old. Right, 25.6 years. Yeah. Right, and our oldest player was David O'Leary, 33-year-old David O'Leary, and we had 32-year-old Jim Leighton.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but
he
was dropped by then by Man U, and Les City took over from number one.
Let me ask you guys a question. I want to take a minute. I'd really like to dive into Paul Merson because he is still like a great pundit to me today. You know, and I know he was an alcoholic, right? Wasn't he into drugs? I thought for a while too. So can you guys, like, when you got time, do you guys dive into Paul Merson and his personal life? Maybe some people in the chat probably don't know as much as you guys do, obviously. I'm curious to know because I heard he's quite a character.
He was a bit of a naughty boy. Let's get it right. You know what I mean? He's one of the Monday Club with Tony Adams and all that crew. You know what I'm saying? I just quickly. Anthony says, I think our highest attendance was 42,000 Highbury against Tuesday. It's actually against Liverpool. It was just under 43,000. I just want to quickly diverse. I'll ask this question, guys. Tez says, do you think if Bayern slap Arsenal again, the team will fall apart? Quickly.
Yes. If we lose to Man City, I think we'll flop. If we beat Man City, yeah, I think that gives us mad confidence. If we beat Bayern at home, I think we advance. If we don't beat them at home, we're out.
Yeah, Kenny, and I'll come to Dow.
Well, depends on what I think. If the priority is to both trophies, then we will fall apart. But if the priority is the league, then they'll have to, wipe the mouths and just get on with it. Really get on with it. I don't think for 1 minute we're going to win the Champions League. It's not a stick to beat the club with or the players, but I just generally believe you can't play the way we play, which is beautiful to watch, and play against teams like Bayern and Man City, and play against Real possibly, and then in the final.
Kenny, if we get to the final, we'll beat anyone in that final. It's at Wembley, mate.
Well, yeah, we can beat anyone, but let's not forget. You can't write anyone out and anyone off. Even Barcelona, for some reason, I was writing off Barcelona and I thought, hang on here, they still got Lewandowski, they still got they still got a few players. I think, bloody hell, that's quite a good team actually.
Yeah. Dow, what do you think, mate?
Lee's gonna kill me for this. I think Man City's a free hit.
I'll
tell you why.
No.
I wanted to say that all day, bro, because I knew
you're a troll.
Man City's a free hit, and I'll tell you why. What are we? A point above them, right? With our top, it's Liverpool and City. So if City beat us, there's 10 games to go, and they're only 2 points above. It's a free hit.
It's a free hit if you're 5 points ahead of them.
Yeah,
behind them.
It's the psychological side of it, though. It's the psychological side, though. If you lose to Man City, having lost the title from 8 points ahead last season or 5 points, whatever it was, yeah, it's the psychological side of it. Yeah, and then you've got to get up for the Bayern Munich game. And the thing is, if we beat Man City, we could be our own worst enemies if we beat Man City because our fans are giddy anyway. Yeah, forget the fans. But the players, if we beat Man City, the players, and this is where Super Mick needs to earn his dough if we beat Man City. Well, he needs to earn his dough by beating them. But this is where if we do beat them, he then needs to rein that in and say, yo, don't think you've made it because we've done the double over City this season or a treble with the Community Shield, right? Yeah, now we have to get up for the next game and the next game and the next game. And listen, if we get any injuries to our centre-backs or Declan Rice, we're finished anyway. So,
I said that off my sleeve because I wanted to get your emotion.
You fully rattled me as well.
But if you look at points in the end, is the sky falling if we lose to City because we're still up there? Of course, it's falling. We have to win every fucking game here on out. You're right, and it's all about mentality. If we go in there and fight City, and let's say we lose 2-1, but we have statistics to back up that we had a good performance, we had shots on goal, and it just didn't happen to us, then it's up to Arteta to really think about regalvanizing the mental aspect of it. Because the thing is that we can beat them, but the problem is they have someone called KDB. They have someone called Rodri, right, who we always struggle against. So in the sense of it being a free hit, no. But if we go and lose, reality tells us that we still have 10 games left. We're
losing the right way is what you're saying.
So right. So but I of course believe in mentality more than I believe in the numbers, bro. Right? Because this is a mentality-based team. We've seen it over and over the last, even the last few weeks when we went down to West Ham and Fulham and we brought ourselves back to score 31 goals and concede 3. Man City will give them a battle. We'll see maybe it's a draw. But the thing is with Bayern, let's not forget, they will have 0 away fans in the stadium. And to me, that is a huge motivation factor.
There'll be a fuel get in. Don't you worry about
it. Fuel get in.
They'll get in. They'll find a way. The Germans cannot be underestimated. They found a way against.
Exactly. We have to beat them at home by a threshold of 3 goals or more. 1 goal ain't going to do it, and I don't think 2 goals are going to do it because I believe we will get stuffed at the Allianz Arena. I don't think there's any way we're going to beat them away. But I think we do stand a chance of putting a few goals on them without the away fans, with some sort of the same mentality and tactics we've been using against Burnley, to go the same teams we went on our run with. He has to set them up the proper way, and Rice has to play on the left. Jorginho or Partey in the CDM. I don't want Rice the CDM because he's cleaning up everything and he's not efficient in attacking situations and positions. So yes, we have to beat City. If we draw City and it's even match, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But there's no way on hell that we can go against Bayern Munich at home and not put 3 on them and get through. If we beat them 1-0 at home, it ain't going to be enough, bro. But I don't think we crumble.
See, I tend to agree, but at the same time, I think if we beat them, no matter what the scoreline is, away goals don't matter anymore. It's not a thing anymore. I think we can go to the Allianz and shit house a draw. Yeah, because we'll have Martinelli on the break. We'll have Trossard we'll have 29. Yeah, he's going to want to prove a point to Bayern. He's played for Leipzig. Yeah, Leverkusen, sorry. Yeah, it is tough. Yeah, and listen, this is what we all wanted to be in. We wanted to be in this position where we got game after game after. We got from Man City to the second leg of that Bayern game, we got 6 games, including them 2, in 18 days. Definitely. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. If we beat Man City, do not be dropping points against Luton or Brighton or somebody like that. No, yeah, that's where we have to bring ourselves back down.
It is possible that can happen, but I think the Bayern Munich game in itself, I don't think they'll be that bothered if they won't have any fans. Like Arsenal season goals have been given a stiff warning that they'll be.
I see that on the website.
Suspended if they sell their tickets. They buy tickets and then sell them on to the highest bidder, i.e. Bayern fans. But the fact is, you look at the experience Bayern have got. Do you think Thomas Muller, who's won the World Cup, is going to be bothered about not having any fans? I don't think he'll be bothered. I don't think Kane.
We played with no fans for 2 years.
Yeah, Sané won't be bothered. Musiala won't be that bothered. The fact is that as much as you mention Bayern Munich and you talk about their weaknesses, i.e., Alphonso Davies may not play because he's fallen out of the club over his contract, and you've got Upamecano and Kim quick, but they made mistakes, so they've got a slow defence. You can't discount that front 4. You can't discount it. Whatever you say about Leo Salah, and you think, Salah's a better play, that's fair enough to say that if you want. But that 4, there's no way that 4 will not create anything in both games.
Right. And then that Kingsley Koeman back, Serge Gnabry on the bench. Choupo-Moting's better than anything we've got coming off the bench, striker-wise.
Yeah. I think we have to dominate the midfield because obviously the midfield they got at the moment is that they got Pavlovic, who's only 19, and they got Goretzka, probably not as mobile as well. So has to be a situation where we have to dominate the midfield. And stop them from getting those 4 into the game. If these 4 get in the game, because they possibly do it. Because what's going to happen is one of them's going to drop deep anyway. Muller and Kane are going to swap. Kane's going to be up top on his own, but what will happen is that Muller will go into that. Will go up front where Kane is, and Kane will be the quarterback and create chances. That way, he'll be an extra ball in midfield. He's got runners because Musiala's got pace, Sane's got pace, Muller's direct. So we've got to stop that. If we don't stop that in both legs, we're not going through.
You give Harry Kane one chance, not even a chance, half chance in the back of the net, mate.
Yeah, I got to convict you guys, but we got to look at Gabriel and Sliba. We got to look at Starsky and Hutch and look at the performances they've had over the last few weeks. They don't stop it. Liverpool couldn't even get a shot on us. I mean, let's look at our defensive strategy. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, but if Declan Rice don't play well, if Declan Rice don't play well, then there's no way they're going to be the Supermen they were before if they're getting runners direct. You can't defend them. Good defenses are built on protection in front of them.
Right. I think if we can hold Kane, the only real problems are Sonny and Gabri.
We've gone down a side road here, and we're in the cul-de-sac now. I only threw that question in, just a quick one.
Sorry to cut you 1 second. Yeah, the reason I brought up the average age of our squad back in '91 is because it's exactly the same age as our squad this season.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good
exactly
point.
The same age, 25.6 years average age.
Good point, mate. Very good point. I want to. This is something I think that where we might have faltered in the going invincible in this particular year. We had to play in the FA Cup, and we had a bit of a longed it out. We had 4 replays against Leeds United, then got through and played. I remember this game vividly. It reminds me very much of the FA Cup game we played away at Nottingham Forest a couple of years ago. We were away at Shrewsbury Town.
Shrewsbury.
Shocking game. Probably as bad as the game against Nottingham Forest a couple of seasons back. We then got through that with 1-0. Awful game. And played Cambridge United at home. Won that one 2-1. Shocking. And we played home and away against Spurs. Both North London derbies ended up 0-0, ball fests. And then we had to play later on an FA Cup semi-final. But in between that, right, Arsenal were vying between, it was Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool were top, Arsenal were top, Liverpool. Then the sadness happened. Tony Adams at Christmas, part of the Monday Club, crashed his Ford Sierra into somebody's garden, and he was away for 4 months, missed 13 games.
Oh, wow.
A very crucial game. Lee, I mean, couldn't make it up, could you? I mean, we had to go and play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and to my mind, that game was a shit show. Terrible referee. But it was the game where we had no Adams.
Who went off injured?
George Graham, well, he substituted Bold for Hillier. Steve Bold went off for Hillier, for David Hillier. His debut season, right? He's sitting second. Liverpool at this point in time are top, right? And we're now sitting, not looking too good, with literally stumbling along, Lee, right? And I think that was a terrible decision. Bold wasn't.
That's up there with Pires getting subbed in the Champions League final when Lehmann got sent off.
It is. Yeah,
it is. Let's just be real with it. So bad, but these managers, they live and die by their sort. But do you know what? The fact that we had only lost to Man United in the cup, and we'd played that many games, including all the replays against Leeds. Like anyone who's younger, it was replay after replay after replay. You just kept playing until someone won, pretty much. Yeah, none of this it goes to extra time or pens now. Right? The fact that we played that many games and we'd only lost, and we hadn't lost in the league, right? And the fact that Liverpool was still top shows how good Liverpool were. Yeah, and we weren't expected to win it, right? When people say, last season, but nobody expected it. Well, nobody expected that team to win the league that we did. Yeah, nobody expected teams to win the league like Leicester. They did it. Just because you're not expected to win it doesn't mean you can't win it. Just because the media don't give you the credit and adulation doesn't mean you can't win it. Yeah, and it's all about, like Dale said, the mentality.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and George Graham had the mentality. It was us against them, Jose Mourinho-esque.
Look, you touched on a very good, if you go into the zeitgeist of, 1991, Liverpool was still the team to beat. Liverpool was still this great side that everyone was afraid of in 1991, because the season before that, little do we know, we didn't know in 91 that the title that they won the season before would probably be their last title for 30 years. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
They still had Johnny Barnes. They still had Steve Nicol. They still had Peter Beardsley. Ian Rush came back from Italy. Very good players. They still had that defect. Alan Hansen was about to retire that season. Obviously, we didn't know that. They still had Gary Gillespie. They said Gary Ablett. They had Steve Staunton. All good professionals. Bruce Grobbelaar, despite his, his shenanigans, was at the time probably the best goalkeeper in the league. There was times where him and Neville Southall were vying for it. Of course, the greatest British goalkeeper I've ever seen is Neville Southall. I put my house on it, because Neville Southall was just extraordinary. The saves he made. I think if it wasn't for Neville Southall, Everton wouldn't have won those two leagues in 85 and 87. That's how great Neville Southall was, and Bruce Grobbelaar wasn't that far behind. So, I say it now. We're at a shout at that. That was a fantastic achievement, because at that time, Liverpool, I would have put my money on, if you gave me a betting slip in 91, I'd have said that, between us and Liverpool, and I probably would have put Liverpool ahead of us because of what they did, because they still had that great team.
So during this time, Alex Ferguson is building the class of 92, right? He's looking at 91, and he's looking at David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Phil Neville. And are these guys, I know Beckham is in the 91 squad for United, correct, at this time? But what happened so drastically in 92?
An amazing manager, I think you have to say.
Go on, Kenny, go on.
I think what happened in Man United, I think at the time, obviously, they were looking to sack, the fans were calling for it to be sacked around 89-90 season, because they were just terrible. They're getting beaten 5-1 by Man City at Main Road. But winning the FA Cup...
Was that City without the oil money, Kenny?
Definitely without the oil money. Yeah. Winning the FA Cup in 1990, and then winning the Cup Winners' Cup the year after that, I think winning those two trophies gave Sir Alex the confidence to actually build that team that should have won the league a year after us, but somehow Leeds won it. So I think he had that kind of build. Remember, he still had players like Paul Ince, who was, was going to be, who turned into be a very, very good midfielder. And he still had Ryan Giggs actually made his debut in that season that we're discussing, the 91 season. He actually scored the winner in a Manchester derby at Old Trafford.
I remember his debut. It was like, who is this skinny little pasty Welsh lad? Yeah, black hair, bruv. And he was just jinking past everyone.
That's the thing. So he was at the time, little did we know that they were going to form a great side, but the foundations were built with those two cup competitions they won. But at the time, we never thought that Liverpool were going to go in decline. We never saw it. We always thought that if anyone's going to compete with Liverpool, it's probably going to be us. But Liverpool was still going to dominate. That was the season when Kenny Dalglish, retired as a Liverpool manager after they drew 4-4 in the Cup. So again, that helps us.
Do you think that one game, the game without Adams? Right, I mean, he was an iconic. We had the legendary back four. Right, do you think that's the one that cost us being invincible?
100%. 100%. If and this is why George Graham gets so much, like, he don't get his flowers. Yeah, because he went to Tottenham. No, he got sacked, went to Leeds, and then went to Tottenham. And he was that good a manager. He won that shit club down the road a trophy. Yeah, which, by the way, they then won again with One Day Ramos years later. Right, and then they've won. Yeah, they've never won anything since. They've not won anything since. If we had had Tony Adams in defence that day, George Graham invincible. But I can't remember. You guys are a little bit older than me. Yeah, was there talk of this on the news and on the shows?
There wasn't.
We're going to go a whole season unbeaten.
No, this invincible phenomenon was only. It's only been since the Premiership started, really. At the time,
you mean Sky Sports weren't existing around them, causing all the dramatics?
No. It was still Saints. It was still football focus and Saints and Greavy. So Saint and Greavy.
That was a bad boy show, Saint and Greasy. That was sick. But no, that's a great question, though. Great question, because I think he would have gone invincible, but we'll never know. Yeah, and the thing is, didn't Tony Adams, when he crashed that car, weren't he late for a plane and we were playing someone in Europe or something? I can't remember. Yeah, and he was late. And he'd been up all night, and he just got in the car, and then he smashed into about 16 parked cars down the street, fled the scene. Yeah,
he's gonna be drunk as hell to do that.
Oh yeah, he was actually with his Essex mates, and then
who were we playing? Was it Fiorentina?
It was before pre-season tour.
The pre-season. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey. See, I see. This is why I love talking to you guys here, because you're way more knowledgeable than I ever will be. Yeah, I thought that he was on his way to a European game. Yeah, and he crashed the car because he was like, oh, wow, I'm late. Oh, let me just drive, and then he spanked a load of cars, and they were waiting on the airport for him. And George Graham went nuts when he got there, but I didn't realise that was pre-season.
It was definitely pre-season tour that Tony Adams, was trying to get ready for. But it's one of those things. Like, it was in the papers, but we never knew the severity of it until he went to court. And when he went to court, I had no idea that he was going to sort of going to be imprisoned. It was one of the biggest shocks, because wherever you were, you knew where you were when you heard it. You were either at secondary school in Archway, where I was, or some people were at university, because I went to university the year after. But you knew where you were. People, you got grabbed. It was on the radio.
Were you at school? Were you still at school?
No, because what's happened is that I stayed an extra year because I wanted to get better A levels to go to UCL. So I got
man. I was 30 years old then.
You were in your prime.
I was at school. So
you're younger than Kenny.
Yeah, believe it or not, I've got 3 A levels. I've got GCSEs. I've got 3 A levels, and because I stayed extra to get better A levels, I ended up at UCL. But even then, I remember it. We're in St. Aloysius. We're in our black blazers. The news. Someone said, "Come, Ken, let's get round the radio." And then it went round the whole of St. Aloysius and Archway. Tony Adams has gone to jail. Went, what? No way. You come out of the Highgate Hill down to Archway, and then you look to the shop windows, and in the shop windows they had the TVs on. It had Tony Adams sent to jail for 4 months. It was all over the TVs. It was and then when you get home, it was the first item on the news, the 10 o'clock news, the 9 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news.
Because he was captain, so that was a big story. And Arsenal were a massive anyway. Yeah,
but George Graham's face was like thunder.
Like, imagine that conversation when he came out.
None of them. Yeah, because George Graham got the ump. He actually blasted the authorities. He just said, "Look, the only reason why he's in prison is because you wanted to make an example out of him."
Exactly.
Because he always said this, because there's that iconic clip before Anfield '89 where he says, "Yeah, we do our job. Don't worry about the media. They hate us anyway." Yeah, and this is why I liken him to Jose. Yeah, because it was us against them. Yeah, they're going to hate us anyway. Yeah, but we're going to show them we're the best. Yeah, and it's that siege, and it gets in people's heads. I've seen Righty on the overlap on with Gary Neville to talk. Not the overlap, the Stick to Football podcast or whatever it was. And he sat there and he said, George Graham, yeah, he goes, we'd have a great game. Like, I'd have a great game. I score a couple of goals, but we'd concede a few, and like we win the game. And they'd dig us all out, you and you and you. And they'd be like, boss, but I play well. Shut up, you. He goes, I couldn't hack it. Yeah, well, we know that anyway, right? But players would get absolutely crucified by George Graham, even if they had a good game, because he wanted to get in their heads to say, listen, you're good and you scored a hat-trick today, but that ain't the level. Now score 6. Yeah, because it was all trying to boost them, because he knew how good that squad was. Yeah, and the players he had that we could have dominated, but some of their players just didn't have it.
Yeah, right.
He didn't have the mentality. He said it on them shows as well with Gary Neville, that he couldn't do management anymore.
Well, if you fast forward 3 years later, remember Ian Wright got the second yellow card, got the yellow card in the home leg because he got booked early in the tournament. He got the yellow card, so he would have missed the final in Copenhagen. He remember at half time he was crying, not before the game. As soon as it happened, he was in tears. So he went down the dressing room. George Graham showed him no sympathy. George Graham we said to him, look, everyone come here, leave the crybaby on his own. No, it's documented. George Graham said, go away, crybaby. And Ian Wright was going, F you bastard, you know.
But that's what I can imagine, that's what Jose does. Yeah, because it's not trying to dig you out and it's trying to boost you up and say, yo, I'm going to fight back and I'm going to prove my point. But you don't rate me. So, and same with Fergie. Fergie was the same. Yeah. But then when you did well and you actually ended the season, you won a trophy, Fergie had put his arm around you once in 4 years and say, you did well today, lads. It's almost like when you're growing up and you're old man. Yeah. Like I've seen the Henri documentary on Diaries as a CEO. Yeah. And he was like, my dad never gave me praise. I could score 6 in a game and say, yeah, you done all right. Yeah. And he was like, what do you mean I've done it? Yeah, you done all right. You done all right. You scored. Yeah, but I scored 6, Dad. Yeah, done all right. And he goes, but that one time where your dad just says, yeah, you were good today. Yeah, that means that. But some players just don't have that mentality. Yeah, Righty was one of them. Listen, I'm not knocking Righty on the pitch. He was amazing. Yeah, but he just didn't have the mentality that George Graham wanted him to have, because he could have been even better. Yeah, let's just have it right. He could have been better. He could have been the best player.
I know it sounds cruel, but Ian Wright epitomises the decline of George Graham at Arsenal. Sorry to say it, but he epitomises the George Graham decline at Arsenal, because when Ian Wright came, we didn't challenge for league when Ian Wright was at the club. I'm sorry, but that's the fact. The start of play was catered for Wrighty, ball over the top. Ian Wright scores goals. Unique striker, but the George Graham great years at the Arsenal were before Ian Wright came to the football club.
Yeah, Alan Smith, Kevin Campbell.
Roger. Yeah. Anyway, let's move this to a quick question. Unique 79 panel. Remember, Tony Adams wore heavy jumpers in training to sweat the alcohol
with the bin bags underneath.
Yeah.
Him and Merce. They used to put the black bin bags underneath.
And Perry Groves. and my mate Perry Groves. Perry Groves used to do it, and Ray Parler. All of them used to, and Bold. In fact, all of them used to, have a bit of a drink.
Club, weren't they? They're all part of the Monday.
Was it Monday or Tuesday, Jez?
I thought it was the Monday Club.
That's Tuesday Club. The Tuesday Club. I know where they started. They actually started in Queensland. You know where the Emirates is. You know where you used to go to the car park with your ex-friends. Well, there used to be like a post office and a pub around there, and they used to start in there, and then they went around because they actually. Start there, and then obviously there was Tony Adams falling down rah-rahs in Islington.
There was a podcast I used to listen to called The Tuesday Club with an actor named Alan Davies, and it had another guy in there named Taiwo. It was a podcast that was just always on Apple, and they called it The Tuesday Club, and it was always
that's with Ian Stone. Ian Stone's the presenter. With
Ian Stone. Yes, that was the other guy on the podcast too. So. Yeah, I remember listening to that, and it was the Tuesday Club. And I think it was probably named after that, right? For whatever reason.
Mate, it's funny. I'll tell you a quick story, yeah?
Go on.
My missus ring me, she can't wait. Yeah, there was a guy, I met him, my boy Jay, and his dad's had a season ticket for 51 years at Arsenal, yeah? Right? Wow. He's had enough, by the way. He said if don't win nothing this season, he's turning it in. Right? But anyway, that's a different story. So me and my boy Jay, his son, we were around the corner in a bar. Yeah, and I don't know if he's still one of the commentary directors, Indian fella, I think he was. Yeah, right. And he overheard me and Jay talking about Arsenal. Yeah, Lee Dixon was his best man at his wedding, and he was the only non-footballer that was allowed to the Tuesday Club. Can't remember the fella's name. Yeah, but he overheard us, and me and Jay look at each other going, yeah, pull the other one, mate. He must be drunk. And then he started showing us the pictures of Lee Dixon, his best man at his wedding. I can't remember the guy's name, and he said it was relentless. Yeah, relentless. Like they'd go in there, and Steve Bold would go, yeah, 35 pints. There's 7 of them. Yeah, like literally 7 of them, 5 each. You know, 5 of them, like depending on what, who could make it. He said,
you know what? They
the only
they used to go to the chippy, after matches, the one round the corner from the ground, where the chippy, just off, not too far from Gillespie Road, where it's actually a Chinese, but they sell fish and chips as well. Yeah, they used to love to go there a lot as well. So their diets were terrible as well.
It's a miracle, yeah. It's a miracle, right? How they actually perform when you have Merson, Parler, Bold, Adams. Yes. You got all these players all out on the drink. Yeah. It's actually mad.
That's when footballers were footballers, Lee.
Yeah.
I know it's in the past and it's a different game.
They weren't athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different type of game. I mean, as Anthony says, George Graham, 6 trophies, 8 seasons, best manager, Arsenal manager for me.
100%, Anthony.
And that's, I'm going to start this comment. I want to come back to this right at the end. I want to come back to this point. So, Arsenal, we're playing, Liverpool, Arsenal, and we get the 1-0 away at Liverpool. Then we're coming to the end of the season. Liverpool cock up against Nottingham Forest, lose 2-1. And that is the switch. In my view, that is the switch in the league. Because Arsenal have been shithoused when it 1-0s, 0-0s, 1-alls, getting through it. We'd lost to Chelsea, obviously. So the no talk at the time about going invincible. I never heard that ever mentioned, ever. It was the talk was, maybe Arsenal will go unbeaten. But there was none of this invincible bullshit. And it came down to the penultimate game of the season at Highbury when we beat basically
United.
Sorry?
Was it United?
Yeah, beating, Man United, yeah.
3-1, Smith hat-trick, last game. That was it. The season.
They let him take a penalty as well. His last goal.
Basically, Liverpool, we were 8 points behind when they lost to Nottingham Forest, and then we caught them up, and the game was a 3-1. And surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of scrapping in that game. I think they'd learnt their lesson. That turned the season. But I always remember George Graham walking down the tunnel. He did not talk to anybody, just walked down the tunnel, out the way, and that was it. It then was the fact that we had to play Coventry City. Basically, that Man United game was played in a party mood.
Yeah.
They knew the job was done. They knew it was done. Right, and it was celebration. Even then, it was done, dusted, over. We're out of it. We've won it. But I have difficulty in saying this. We lost at Wembley in a semi-final of the FA Cup.
Hurts. It hurts. Jace. Hurts this day because we were such.
The Gazza free kick.
I know, but the thing about the thing that wound me up, because I remember I was coming back from school and my brother said to me, and I thought, right, this is really going to stir us up. My brother went up because during that time, obviously Terry Reynolds was the manager of Tottenham. They had players like Gazza, Lineker, Mabbott, Vinny Samways, Naeem. They had Torchfett in goal. And they had like Ollie Allen, Clive Allen. They had Edinburgh. They had
Just
I think they're Terry Fennick at right back. But what's happened? Gary Mabbott went on the local London news. He says, you know, in his sort of Bristol accent, well, I think individually, Spurs are better than Arsenal, and that really wound me up when he said that. It really wound me up. I thought, right, that's going to really wind up the players. But there's a funny story about it. Is that there were rumours going around North London, and Gazza was spreading them as well, that Arsenal had already you know, like I said, done rehearsal for the FA Cup final song before the semi-final was played against Spurs. So Gazza actually spread it in the Tottenham dressing room. That went all around the Tottenham dressing room, and Gazza's saying that motivated Spurs because there was rumours, abound that we thought we won it, and that was the rumour going around. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard.
But back then they did do that, Kenny, yeah, because it's the same when they do the parade.
Yeah.
Like you have to plan the parade way in advance, to be able to get from the local council or whatever the route, So, but back then, the songs. Do you remember like the Glenn Oddle and all that lot singing the song? Yeah, like if back they don't do that anymore. Yeah, but you have to get the permission. You have to get your song ready. Yeah, and Gazza's a shit house anyway. Yeah, and obviously he's England. We had loads of England players. Yeah, you know what I mean? And he's a fucker.
But the thing about it, right? I actually thought that Gary Mabbott's, like protestations that Spurs were better than us individually will galvanise our players. But what happened? That rumour that we were actually rehearsing that FA Cup final song galvanised Spurs, and they just from the kickoff they just went at us, went bang. You know, we didn't know what hit us. I mean, Gazza's free kick. Oh God, how demoralising! And then before we could actually recover from that, they went to score a second with Gary Lineker, and then we realised we were in a game. And I think Alan Smith scored from a Lee Dixon cross, and I thought, right, let's go and do this in the second half. But then David Seaman just had chocolate fingers for Gary Lineker's second goal. And that was it. It was game over.
Yeah, fact is. Gazza back then was a legend. Unfortunately,
he was unreal, mate. He was an unbelievable footballer.
Very sad what's happened to that guy now. So anyway,
do you know what? Sorry to cut you, Jez. Do you know what? Yeah, with Gazza, he's one of them players that always needs constant validation. You're the greatest. You're the best. Yeah, and I guarantee he will never admit it, but I guarantee. Yeah, he regrets not going to Man United. Yeah, because if he went to Man United, he would have been the best player in the world.
I think definitely that will happen. But I think with Paul Gascoigne at the moment, the thing with Paul Gascoigne is that he's a classic example of a sportsman that doesn't know what to do in their life after they've retired. I mean, it's such a crying shame. You think about all these ex-players and pundits. You look at a World Cup. Coverage to the BBC, ITV, or even the ones abroad. No Gazza. Sky Sports, Premiership, no Gazza. European, Champions League, BT Sport, TNT Sport, no Gazza. And it's a shame because I can't use Gazza. I mean, you look at Gazza now. He looks about he's 57. He's going to be 57 this year, but he looks 87.
And he's one little comment away from being cancelled, and he's a wild one.
Again, when he speaks. You actually, even if he's not drunk, he looks and sounds drunk. You can't. I don't know how. The only way you can actually
done. His brain's gone.
I think he's got. There's something obviously. So all you could do is book Gazza for the sort of after dinner speaking circuit. You can't book him. Like the overlap. Where they have ex-players. The player they should be having is Gazza, but they can't use him. And that's an indictment, a sad indictment of, his life and how it's turned out. All his money is, gone. But then again, as I say, if you're an ex-player and you get a divorce, you better go to Job Centre, mate, because your wife will take not just your everything you earn from football, she'll take your future earnings, if there are any.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've got some great comments picked here. So the game, we know what happened. Home, Coventry battered them 6-1. It was an amazing day out. the parties had started. I remember that day. The parties had started literally 6 a.m. The bunting was up already the day before, and it was just an amazing time. And obviously, Arsenal go on. We get the league title, our first league title since '89, where we, done Liverpool. They won it back the next season. Then we got them, and they finished second.
And then we build off their legacy after that, 30 years.
Yeah,
I still can't believe that. I still can't believe to this day that if you had told me that day when we won the title in '91 that it would taken us 7 years to actually win it again, and it had taken a different approach of football from Arsene Wenger, I'd have called you a liar. But if you had told me that Liverpool wouldn't be in the races for 30 years, I would have just booked you into Harley Street to see the nearest, their best psychiatrist, because there was no way that Liverpool, in my mind, during that time, that Liverpool would go that long without trophies, because Liverpool was still a big team. The reason why a lot of people look at George Graham as a great manager, because I don't think people realise what he did. He actually went to Anfield against that great side. Obviously, they had the sort of trauma of Hillsborough, but he went there and he won 2-0, where you needed 2 goals to win, and he got them. And then the season afterwards, we were poor when we finished 4th. Spurs actually finished 3rd above us by 1 point. Spurs finished 3rd, we finished 4th, and then the season afterwards, we went and won the title. To take titles of that Liverpool team, especially that played with a bit of panache with Johnny Barnes, Beardsley, Rush and Aldridge, all those kind of players. To do that was unique. But that's the thing with football, I never saw Man United dominate, because I still thought Liverpool were top side. But look what happens. It does go in cycles. If you told me 30 years ago that Man United will be the worst team in Manchester, and that Man City would be just smashing them, treating them like little boys, I would have laughed at you. But that's the thing with football. The only difference between now and then is football was football. It was a business. We all knew it was a business, but it was actually people actually play because they want to play. There weren't people like bloody, Ben White said, "Oh, I don't like football. I only play because I'm good at it." Or people like William Gale, people like that.
I want to get Dal in this. Super chat, mate, from DBoy0113, mate. Thank you for your super chat. Brazil are training at Colney, and apparently the Arsenal fans have knocked Vinay Jr. in the ground, begging him to sign with Arsenal. I can't see that happening, mate. Dal.
Yeah, he's got a brain, mate.
Yeah.
A very good agent.
Dal.
Yeah.
I want to get your. This is what I wanted to talk about, the final part, really. Anthony says, question to the panel. What was your feelings when George Graham went to Tottenham? I was shocked, to be honest. Dow, what do you think of that one?
Well, George Graham's a traitor, but like Gunnar said, he went to Leeds first. It's the way it goes. You got to chase the bag, right? I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess my question for you guys is that, like, I know we have a specific way we played under Arsene Wenger. Did we have a specific style of play under George Graham?
I thought people talk about George Graham's style of play in '93, where we built on a very solid defence, and we played a very long ball game where we played direct to suit Ian Wright. But the '89 team played some very good football. The '91 team,
'91 was insane.
Yeah, so people underestimate it, and obviously, rightly so. They're going to look at Arsene, they're going to look at the Harlan Growcroft style of play we played, and Arsene's football was beautiful. It was better than George's, but you can't say George didn't play great football. You can't say we didn't play great football when we had players like Mickey Thomas, players like David Rocastle, Brian Marwood, Anders Lind, all good technically really good footballers. You can't say we didn't play good football then. We played some really good football under George.
George Graham gets a lot of disrespect because of that move to Tottenham, right? And like I've compared him to Jose, or Jose to him. In this era right now, he's Simeone. Mad disrespected because he can defend, and his team can. He didn't defend at the weekend; they got battered by Barca, right? First loss of the season at home. But there's this perception that you have to play sexy football. We've all seen the Real Madrid team. We've all seen like the Galacticos. We've all seen the Pep Barca team. We've all seen Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. We've all seen Man City. With Aguero, and they're like doing their thing under Pep and that. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And people in this era right now, they want to see all singing, all dancing football. And anyone who can set up a defense, is instantly seen as negative football, terrorist football. I've watched Atleti a lot this season, and they've not been good. They've not been good. But in certain games, they'll set up defensive, like they did against Inter the other night, and they got very lucky and missed some chances. But when they have to turn up and play ball, they turn up and play ball. When they have to turn up and set a defense up, they set a defense up. And that's what George Graham was doing back in the day. And there's a lot of disrespect to George Graham because he went to Tottenham. It's only because he went to Tottenham. We played great football.
Jose's teams, remember Jose before Pep Guardiola, the record haul for Premiership points was Jose Mourinho's team in 2005. They got 95 points. That team played good football, really good football. Come on, that team had Robin, Damien Duff, Frank, and they played, Drogba. They played some really good stuff, but because he was stingy defensively, and you couldn't break them down. Everyone thought he played boring football.
Yeah, and this is the thing and this coincides with Sky Sports dramatizing everything. Like you have to win by playing Harlem Globetrotters football. Oh, defense wins you titles. We have the best defense in the league right now. If we win a title, we will end up with the best defense in the league.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
The best defense in the league normally wins the league.
Least amount of goals scored.
Because you're hard to break down. But also, you score a hell of a lot of goals as well.
Let me ask you
we lost by a point.
But you know what's crazy? That Jose team that conceded 15 goals, mate. 15 goals in a league season. That is incredible.
That's insane. That's John Terry.
But then Jose, I'll give another example, Dale, Jose Mourinho still holds the record now in La Liga. Right? This is when prime Pep's been there with Messi, Neymar, Suarez. Right? He still holds the record for the most goals scored in one single season, 122 goals. But apparently he plays negative football. He still holds the record now. La Liga record. You guys are old enough to know. Jez and Kenny, maybe. Me and you, Dale, we're a little bit younger, innit? But you remember John Toshak's Real Madrid? That Real Madrid team John Toshak had was pamming everyone 4-5 every week, and that was when it was 2 points for a win. They won the league by 9 points. When it was 2 for a win. And they averaged 4 goals a game at home. Average.
I remember John Toshak. This is how old I am. I remember him playing for Cardiff City.
Bloody hell, that's got Liverpool.
When he went and played for Liverpool. I got a question, great question here, actually. Guys, what game are we winning or losing the league? I say Man United.
Oh, do you know what? If we get past Bayern Munich, we play the North London derby 3 or 4 days, depending on when that first leg of the semi lands.
Right.
Literally 3 or 4 days after that North London derby, we'll then play Real Madrid or City if we get through. Then we got Bournemouth. Then we played the second leg. Then we got Man United. And it's all within the space of 16 days or 12.
It gets better. It actually gets worse. The Chelsea game, I believe, is going to be sandwiched on the April 24th on a Wednesday.
Isn't it?
April 24th.
That's 3 days before the derby.
The derby's going to be Super Sunday at 4:30. And then if we get Real Madrid, that game could either, if it's on a Tuesday, then Spurs game's on a Saturday. If the game's on the Wednesday, then obviously it's Super Sunday. And then after Super Sunday, after we play Real Madrid, who we got? We got Bournemouth at home, isn't it?
Bournemouth, and then Man United.
And Man United, yes.
But the second leg is before Man United.
Yeah, but we haven't got
we'll
there
have
yet.
Bournemouth, and then we'll have Real Madrid or City, then Man United.
We haven't beaten Bayern yet.
I need to use the
No,
phone.
but this is what we've wanted for years, yeah, right? And the fact that it's like it's a Rizzler paper thin, like literally one cock up, we're out, yeah, and that's it. Yeah, you mess up against Bayern, you're finished. But I think we'll get past Bayern. I can't lie, I genuinely do. Yeah, I'm not getting too cocky and arrogant with it. But if we get, and I think we'll get Real Madrid, I think we'll get done. I think we'll get done. But this is how tight it is. If this geezer gets us over the line, yeah, despite all of us sitting on this panel calling him out, and me especially, since he's been here, yeah, if we do one or both, if he does both, I'll say it right now, and I don't care. If he wins us the Champions League and the Premier League against both of them managers he's up against this season, in comparison to when he bottled it last season and should have won it, that's a better achievement because he's done it against two good managers, not one.
Yeah.
Right? But if he wins the Champions League as well, give him a statue.
Absolutely.
Give him a statue. That's our first European trophy for how many years? 30 years.
In my life,
Bayern, Real Madrid or City, and then let you PSG, Barca or Dortmund in the final.
No, but if he wins a Champions League with that team, that is not
it's not good enough to win it.
Purpose to win the Champions League, he deserves a medal. That's going to be his best achievement ever. He's not going to top that. He can manage Real Madrid.
He can do that and just roll off into the sunset.
No, forget it. Forget it. He won't do better. He won't get better than winning the Champions League this season with this team and this lineup with the inexperience we have.
All those games you guys mentioned, I had to call my doctor for an additional blood pressure medication because I don't think I'm going to make it through the next 6 weeks.
Dal, you're not going to get through it. Dal, it's beautiful, bro. It's nice to have high blood pressure and palpitations because that's what we've always wanted. It's boring watching other teams, you know.
I swear, if we lose 5-1 to Bayern Munich, I am going to absolutely smash this thing to pieces.
Let me tell you that. I've been there. It's not nice having heart.
Oh, of course, definitely. But if it's caused by us doing well, I suppose
if
it's caused by us,
we got going on.
you know, if it's caused by Arsenal, obviously it's bad, but it's something you love, isn't it? Right? You know what I mean?
The thing is, when you support Arsenal, right, you expect. I think I'm going to put this out there. Supporting Arsenal Football Club is a very special club to support, right? True. It gives you the dramas, the ups, the downs, the goods, and everything, and it does. I think cause you issues, but I just want to quickly show this comment from a lovely guy. Ian, unfortunately, my body is given in about 5% worse. It's in the last 10 days. My body's a wreck. Don't know how long I have left. I'm not saying this for sympathy. Thanks, everyone. Ian, mate, I know you've been ill for a very, very long time, bro. You're always here. And, mate, please get well. And I know what you're going through, and all the best to you, fella. I have a question.
I read his follow-up comment. Sorry, I read his follow-up comment. Yeah, he said he's taking about 20 tablets a day and not getting any better. Bro, let me say one thing, yeah? And don't take this the wrong way, because I know you're always here, and I rate you. I love you to pieces, mate. Yeah, big up, darling, and bosh. Yeah, I think they've won about 8 games in the last 12 or something. Come on, they're staying up, lads. Believe. Yeah, do it for Klopp. Right. Yeah. Let me tell you right now, my mother came here, not the summer gone, the summer before. Yeah. And I nearly threw her box of medication off of the patio over the balcony. She was taking 26 tablets a day. Yeah. She then comes out here the following year, last summer. Yeah. I said, don't bring that box of tablets because I'll flush them. I flushed a lot. Yeah. She goes, I don't take them anymore. And I feel great. Yeah. She's got mad. She sits there. Like, she's in her 60s, mum. She's like this. She's a nervous wreck, anxious. She's taking pills for anxiety. She's taking pills for this illness, that illness. Bruv, stop taking them. Yeah, real talk. I don't listen. Stop taking them. Yeah, because they're not making you better.
You know what I say about medication? I think what people do is that sometimes people rely so much on that medication, but remember the medication will work for a certain. You remember you've got 24 hours in a day. Half of that you probably should be sleeping, so it's only going to work for certain hours within that day, and then you're going to need them again.
Yep.
When really and truly, it's actual doctors actually do it, doing the operation, and it's lifestyle changes as well. Like for instance, it's the exercise, it's the diet, and everything. So if you're taking those tablets and you rely on them, but you're still not doing the exercise, you're still not having the right diet, you're still not doing the sort of, having the doctor stitch you up, then you're going to be back to square one.
I can't say too much on you because Jezza gets shut down there, right? But then, listen, I'm not saying he's dependent on him because he's a real one. Big up Ian Barron there, right? And I'll say it in a way that won't get Jez cancelled, right? Bro, they're not designed to make you feel better. Yeah, they can cure so many different things. They choose not to. Yeah, it's all about making an absolute fortune. Yeah, we see that in the 2 years we've sat in our house. Yeah, the amount of billionaires that were made out of that is crazy. So yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm only going off of my own personal experience with my mother. She was taking 26 different. She came here with a big, the Quality Street. Yeah, the tin. That was it. Yeah,
What?
and my missus is here. When my mum came here with them tablets, 26 a day she was taking, and I nearly threw them off the patio. She came here the following year. Yeah, I don't take them anymore. And she said, I feel so much better. Yeah. And listen, everyone's different. Yeah. But listen, my mum feels great not taking them anymore because not that you become dependent on them, but they only do so much. And then you think, I'll take that. And then it becomes a habit. Yeah, a bit like smoking or drinking. Yeah. But big up to you, Ian, man. Always love.
Big up Ian. I know I've seen him in the chat too a lot. And Kenny Ken is 100% right. My wife's been a pharmacist for over 20 years. And she has a doctorate degree in pharmacology. So what her standpoint is, she's all about the medicines, right? That they do help, but they help with what Kenny Ken said: exercise and diet. You can't just lay in bed and take pills, bro, and drink water. You have to move your body. You have to get your membranes circulating, your cells circulating, because that medicine has to soak in to all of your enzymes and all that, your cell makeup and so forth. But if you have something prescribed specifically by a doctor, Ian, then you should probably be looking at taking that, but also other alternatives like Lee said as well. But the exercise, the fluids, like Kenny said, is absolutely important. And I can just tell you that because my wife's been a pharmacist for 20 plus years.
There you go. Big up that, man.
You get better if you rely solely on the medication. The medication's there as a guideline, but your doctors, the first thing your doctor will ask you after you take the medication, they'll say, have you performed any lifestyle changes? That's the first thing they'll ask.
Yeah, what's your diet? Yeah.
I had all of that. I had all of that.
Cut down. Bless up to Ian always, man. He's always in the chat. Every stream. Big up,
man.
Question for me. Wish you all the best.
Wish you the
question
best.
for me. I'm going to start. I'll answer this one. And I'm going to ask the panel. Question for Jez: are we going to exercise our demons at the Etihad? Good question. Very good question. I think, this is my honest opinion, I actually think we may walk out there with a draw. That's I'm not sure. I'm not confident about a win. I'm going to go for a draw. Dow, what do you think, mate?
It's a free hit.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not a free hit. No game is a free hit. I'm just saying that to piss off Gunner. No, you're right, Jez. I think a draw is going to happen. I think we beat them without KDB and Rodri that one game, right? When Martinelli put it in there for 1-0. I'm sorry, but you're talking about two impact players, two of the best Premier League players in the league. Yeah, KDB hasn't been the best in the last few weeks, but he always shows up against us. So I think if we have the right mentality, Jez, play the right lineup, play Declan Rice in the left mid so he can get up and down, provide us some attacking options instead of having them, in front of the back four, cleaning up the mess. I think there's something there. I really do. Saka has to have a good game. I'm concerned who he's going to put up front. To be honest, Jez, I don't know if I really want to see Jesus up front. because we're having a decent run with Havertz. He's in a purple patch. It's, let's admit it. He's not my favorite player. He's probably not many favorite people's player, but let's be honest, he's having a purple patch, and we need some strength and height to battle, Akanji and Ruben Diaz. So I think a draw is a very, very good prediction, Jazz. I don't see them out beating us because I think our defense is that good and we are that solid right now. I truly believe that. And I think our defense is, like you guys said even before, is going to win us games, could win us the title. But it's going to be a tough ask, Jazz. But I can see a draw or win. I don't think we'll lose. I just don't think we'll lose. I'm hoping we won't, of course. But yeah.
I mean,
tough game.
Kenny, look, all our games now are cup finals.
100%, yeah.
What do you think, mate? How do you see that game at the Etihad going?
Well, I stand by what I've said before. Arsenal cannot afford to drop any points,
right?
Because the reason why I say that is that you have to sleep with one eye open when you've got. Well, you always have to sleep with one eye open if Man City are your competitors for the league. But when you've got a third competitor in Liverpool, where everyone thinks they're going to go away because younger fans see Liverpool as this small club, this small team that just feel no. But I was on a podcast where two people, wrote off Liverpool's chances. They still think Liverpool's going to fall away, despite the fact that all the evidence you've seen since 10 has bastardised those views. And we know that with Salah and all them not coming, Salah's back. We know that we think that Trent's going to be back. We think that Yotta's going to be back. So you've got to sit one eye. In terms of that's why I think the Man City game is a must-win, because I think psychologically, even though for a psychological situation, you can only believe you're going to win the league. You can only believe that you can go to Allianz and go to Madrid and win.
But do our players believe that, Kenny?
What's that?
Do our players believe that? What you just said?
I think they do. I think they do.
If you beat the European Cup holders, the league champions, and the FA Cup holders at their own ground in front of their own fans, then it's just like what you going to have a lot of confidence. You're going to go to a place like hard games like like the Bernabeu, knowing that Real Madrid are a better team than you and a bigger club than you, but we're capable of beating the best because Real Madrid not the best team in Europe. Man City are.
Right,
so going there should give you that bit of confidence. I know a lot of people.
I hope so.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but let's face it, it's realistic. Look what happened last season. By the time we dropped points against Southampton, before that West Ham, before that Liverpool, by the time we got to Etihad, we were basically Man City were on top by goal difference. Both had the same amount of points. That wasn't a 6-pointer. We mentally we lost. We knew the league was done by then. We knew we were going to lose. We knew we were going to lose because we've done before. I don't care what anyone says. There are demons. We're human. If you F up in a big game, then any human, any sportsman, it's going to affect you down a straight. I don't care what anyone says. We're humans. We're not robots. We're humans. No amount of tossing around by the manager, no tossing around by the Arteta lovers is going to tell me that losing against Man City and losing in a very embarrassing, spectacular way is not going to have a knock-on effect on Bayern Munich. It's going to have, or a knock-on effect against the other games. That is completely BS. It's going to have a knock-on effect. It is.
Sure. We've seen it last season. I truly believe we lose a game. Like even last season, I said it many times. We lost a game. We carried that black cloud over our head for 3 or 4 weeks, and look at what happened. I think that if we draw City, that will give us, that fire we need to go against Bayern Munich. I just feel that I'm not. We're gonna have such a long break. I just hope the mentality doesn't fade. And then all of a sudden, we're supposed to find this energy to go beat City at the Etihad. Because last time we had a break, we were in Dubai, right? And now we're having a break, and they're kind of sitting around, right, not doing much, right? Arteta eating meat off a man's hand, on their face, and I saw Bay and all that shit, right? Which I heard is a horrible restaurant anyway. But but
I've heard that too. Funny enough,
you say again?
I've heard that too. Funny enough, yeah. I think he's in the bottom 5% for hygiene in London restaurants.
That's kind of weird.
Lovely.
Yeah, I am.
Lee,
I just hope the mentality's there, Kenny. With what you're saying, I just hope it's there.
Lee, do you think we can go and exercise our demons at the Etihad?
If we want to win the league, we have to win there.
Yeah,
because these Champions League draws that us and City have got advantage Liverpool. Yeah, not only that, they've got an easier running.
Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
And
that.
I know they're still going for the Europa League. They're still going for the title. They've won the League Cup, but yes, they're level on points with us. I think our goal difference is superior, obviously, but at the same time, they've got an easier running. They've got a manager who's done it, albeit once, but he's been in multiple title races to the death. Yeah, like they could have won the league 2 seasons ago. They had one hand on the trophy. City 2-0 down at home to Villa. Yeah, like they could have done a quad that season. Yeah, but I think the fact that Man City have got Real Madrid, I don't know who their games are. I haven't seen it. I don't know who their games are before or sandwiched in between them draws. I haven't seen it, but they're not that great. Let's just be real with it. The one thing I will say, and I said this with Flawless earlier, they play walking football. They're literally walking around the pitch. Yeah, it's not hustle and bustle. It's not 100 mile an hour. That game against Man United the other week, it's walking football. And then all of a sudden, Phil Foden goes, I ain't walking anymore. Yeah, boom, 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 goal. Yeah. Any opportunity, the geezer they got out front can score a goal.
Yep.
Any opportunity, Kevin De Bruyne can do a madness pass. Yeah. Any opportunity, Bernardo Silva nutmegs a couple, bang. Yeah, he scored twice. I know they were deflected. Bernardo don't get goals like that. Yeah, he scored twice.
That's why they're better than Madrid.
Yeah, Rodri's unbeaten in 61 games that he's played in. The last 61 games, he ain't lost a game for Man City. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that is ridiculous. But we have a fully fit squad, apart from Timber, who I wouldn't play until next season anyway.
100%. I'm with you.
Yeah, just put him in the reserves, let him get fitness. Yeah, pre-season, get him back. Yeah, get him up, and bang, next season you go. But I just look at it and I think this is how, Mikel, now have you learned from last season? Because we were so naive. We had a goalkeeper that's like, I don't know if he's got ADHD, because he's looking at pigeons. Yeah. His substitutions, like when we went 2-0 up at Anfield, I did the watch along for that. As soon as I called we'd beat them at Anfield. I was like, they're crap. We're beating them. We're 2-0 up. I'm like, get Zinchenko off. As soon as we scored that second goal, and after I calmed down, I was like, now get Tierney on the pitch. Shut up shop. Yeah. The fact that we are inverting on the right, I think Ben White's a better footballer to invert than Kivior. Yeah. We've proved that don't work. Yeah. But it all hinges on the mentality and who's going to crack first. It's like playing poker. Yeah. Like who's going to crack first? Who's going to show their hand first? Yeah. And not only that, last season, we had Saliba out injured, and everyone blamed that as the reason we capitulated. No. That's one of the reasons. The goalkeeper was a joke in that last 8 games or whatever.
100%.
Saka disappeared for the last 8 games, which he's done for 2 seasons on the spin, by the way. Yeah, and the last 2 games Saka's played, he's been trash. Yeah, Porto and Brentford, he was awful. Right? So now we need our best players, the Sakas, the Odegaards, the Declan Rice, the Salibas, the Gabriels, to step up and say, right, cool. Yeah, I think Martinelli will be back. Nothing less than a win. Yeah, we have to, if we're going to prove, that we have bridged the gap and we're the real deal, go to the Etihad and win. Yeah, I will never accept a draw. Yeah, I will never accept a draw. Listen, if we end up losing that game, if we go toe-to-toe, like Dale said earlier, if we go toe-to-toe, there's a way of losing. Yeah, and we can sit there at the end of the game, we've lost 2-1, 3-2, 1-0, whatever it may be. But we've given them a good game. We've had loads of shots. The goalkeeper pulled a worldie. Yeah, right. And we just got unlucky with a deflected goal. Yeah, similar to our deflected goal against them. at the Emirates. Something in that, yeah, but we've had a go. Then you can sit there and go, do you know what? Yeah, mad unlucky, but that should not be the reason that deflates the rest of our season if we lose. If we draw, advantage Liverpool still. And I think they should be favourites. I said this with Flores. They got the best running, and our Champions League draws, they must be sitting there going, yeah, cheers. Salah's back. Yeah. Darwin's firing. Yeah. Jota's not back yet, but they've got all their players pretty much. Trent's coming back soon. They've got an easy path to the final. Yeah. They'll slap at Atlanta at home so they can rest a few players in the second game. Yeah. If we go there and beat them, this is where this manager needs to earn his corn. Right, because if we beat them, our fans are going to go off the charts. 3 times in the season we've beaten City. Yeah, yeah, and that's when the players now need to stay off social media. Don't believe the hype. Yeah, the manager needs to rein it in. Yeah, and now we go again against Luton. Now we go again against Brighton. Now we go again against Bayern. Now we beat Bayern in the first leg. All of a sudden, we're now sitting there, all 4 of us in the chat, and everyone else around the world supporting Arsenal. Or not supporting Arsenal, or sitting there going, oh, they're the real deal. Yeah. But it's whether we believe our own hype. And unfortunately, I think we do. A lot of our players believe their own hype. A lot of our players are very emotional. Yeah. The fact that he's getting people to write on the board, how does it make you feel to play at the Emirates? Yeah. Cool. If we win the league, because listen, we all sat there and mocked the fact we went Dubai. Yeah. That's probably the turning point of our season.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we all mock that, and we have to hold our hands up and say, yo, that was the turning point, because since we've come back from that Dubai trip, we've been unbelievably good. But now, yeah, when you look at the international break, how many of them international games of our players are in England? London Stadium, Brazil. Yeah, Brazil are playing. London Stadium. So not all of our players are flying all around these Timbuktu areas. Yeah, no. We're pulling players out. Martinelli will be back. Yeah, and again, hopefully Martinelli's fit for that game. Yeah, because of his pace. Yeah, because they're going to dominate. Possession is going to be suss each other out. There's going to be 1 or 2 shots between us in the first half an hour. One mistake, game over. Yeah, because then that one mistake, whether it be for us or for them, we score. And then that other team has to chase it at some point. Yeah, and that's when it could go 2-0. And then when it goes 2-0, yeah, then that dents the confidence. If we lose that game, I fear for us, heavily lose that game, 2-3-0, yeah, 3-1. Yeah, but if we lose it and it's a tight game, I think it'd be, yeah, don't worry, we're tight, we're cool. Yeah, if we win it, just rein them in. Yeah, just say, cool, we've beaten them. Now go and beat Bayern. Now go and beat Luton, beat Brighton. Yeah, beat Aston Villa. Yeah, and if we get through Bayern Munich, oh my days. Yeah, now we're still top of the league. We're in the semi-finals of the Champions League. We've only done that, well, twice. And once we got to the final. Yeah, all of a sudden, we're looking at it thinking, do you know what? We are so close to being flipping good here. Yeah, and it's how he manages that squad from there on.
Facts. Before we wrap this up, we've been going for nearly an hour 40. I'm going to ask a contentious question. Nothing to do with current form. Should George Graham have got a statue, and was he better than Arsene Wenger? Kenny?
Yes to both questions. Yes to both questions. It was pretty close to him. It's close with him and Wenger. But in terms of like, what's the criteria for a manager, you know, to get some sort of recognition? Well, first and foremost, the criteria is to win the league. Win it in a way that you actually rip it away from a top side, like Liverpool. Great George did that. You know, he reawakened that sleeping giant from the 1971 side that won the double. We only won 1 trophy after that, which was the FA Cup. You know, he maximised our youth players. You know, players like Rocky, Thomas, Merce, Adams. He's the one. Don't get me wrong. Don Howe and Tony Hill gave him their head, but it was George Graham who turned them into superstars and great players. Let's not forget, he's the only second manager to win a European trophy in 8 seasons, 8 full years, 8 seasons. He's won 6 trophies. Pamper fan, that's got you better than Arsene. If Arsene carried on these great years into the Emirates, and we were having a conversation, it would definitely be Arsene. There was times actually where Arsene was in front of him, but Arsene, due to he's chasing a dollar, brought it back to George. If Arsene won in Europe and dominated Europe, it wouldn't be conversation. And tactically, George was better as well. I still think that if we had George Graham for one of those European campaigns with that team that Arsenal had, we would won the Champions League at least once or twice.
Right, 06, if we go down to 10 men in 06 with George Graham as manager, we still win it.
We would have won the Champions League before that. We would have won the Champions League before that if George Graham was our coach, because George Graham was a tactical manager. Arsene Wenger was kind of one of those kind of Liverpool type managers who said, right, go out and play. But the fact that George hasn't got a statue is a disgrace, because David Dean's not there. Ken Fry's just a figurehead. The Hill was not there. So what is preventing George Graham from getting a statue?
Mate.
Yeah. He was also an Arsenal double winner in the 17th season. Anyway, Lee, what do you think, mate? Was he? Should he have a statue? Was he better than
100? Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, he went up against the best team in the world. Yeah, let's be real with this. Liverpool were the best team in the world. Yeah, we nicked 2 titles off of them. Fair enough. Man United were one of the best teams in the world when Wenger nicked 3 titles off of them. Right? Fair enough. Wenger did doubles, scintillating football. We've seen unbelievable. It was like, wow, we've gone from 1-0 to the Arsenal to like, wow, we're globetrotters. Yeah, but every time in Europe, despite the 5-1 against Inter, yeah, despite all these other competitions, like where we've slapped teams like Sparta Prague 7, Cesk's first Champions League goal or whatever it was when he was young, like we've had some great football. Yeah, great football under Wenger, and rightly so. He's got a statue. As much as I still don't like him, he's brought all this top 4 is a trophy crap to English football. Yeah, throwing out players in the League Cup. Yeah, cool. Our kids back then were cool, but now everyone's doing it. Even in the Championship, they're throwing out reserves. Dismiss that cup straight away. Yeah, and let's be real. When we got to that final, yeah, forget the Birmingham one, the Chelsea one. He played the kids. Yeah, we should have won that League Cup. We should have beaten Birmingham. Yeah, he should have won the Champions League final. He should have done other titles as well. Yeah, the season Leicester won it, we should have won it. Yeah, 08-09, we should have won it. Yeah, 13-14, we should have won it. Yeah, he should have had 6 titles. He should have had 2 League Cups. Yeah, and fair enough, FA Cup ledge, all of that stuff. Well done, you've won 7 of them. Well done. But George Graham, sorry, mate. You've gone up against the best team in the world. Man United were not the best team in the world when we nicked 3 titles off them. Yeah, fair enough. They won a treble, so they were the best team in the world then, right? He came in and within 18 months, Wenger won a double. That's why I don't give people time. Oh, it takes time. No, it don't. Yeah, he was very lucky and very fortunate, though, Wenger, that he inherited that back 4. Yeah, he inherited Ray Parlour, Dennis Bergkamp, Ian Wright. Yeah, and that back 4 and the goalkeeper. Yeah, fair play. Jens Lehmann, bad boy, bit crazy. Yeah, but when you look at George Graham was going up against literally they were miles clear as the best team in the world. Let's just have it right. Yeah, Man United were not the best team, miles clear. Yeah, both of them are great. Yeah, especially Wenger in that first 8 to 10 years up until 06. Their Champions League final. After that, as soon as we moved to that stadium, he sold his soul, mate. Yeah, sold his soul, started waffling about top 4. Yeah, making out we had to sell our players to fund the stadium, which we all know is crap. Yeah, Sky Sports facilitated it by saying, oh, they were selling all their Gary Neville when he first got the gig at Sky on Monday Night Football. Oh, they had to sell their best players to fund the stadium. Bollocks, 20 million a year, mate, for 25 years. Yeah, and Champions League qualification paid for that. Yeah, George Graham, yeah, that guy, if he had stayed at Arsenal, if he hadn't got sacked, if he had stayed at Arsenal, I believe Kenny as well, we would have been champions of Europe, mate. Yeah, that guy is an absolute dime. Love him.
You know the thing about it is that I saw a comment, and fair enough, fair play, because it is legitimate that people say Wenger changed football. Yeah, he Sassy's
good and the worst.
He changed football because he brought in he brought in ideas, you know, in terms of like the diets and everything. You know, he invigorated our back four and got them to playing football.
He got very lucky. He knew the French market, Kenny. Yeah, because back then the scouting network weren't what it is now.
Don't get me wrong, but I think when you talk about Arsene Wenger, you're always going to look at Arsene Wenger and talk about his great years, but you can't just say he changed football and then just think there was a full stop after 2004. Why is that with a lot of people who love Arsene? There's a full stop after 2004 when after he was manager of our club for another 14 years. They don't want to talk about the other 14 years.
He should have gone after the whole city.
Yeah, but that's even
and if he didn't go after the whole city, he should have gone after the Chelsea final in 17. But he got too cocky. He was getting too much of that. Pay rise. He was the highest paid manager in the world when Jose was managing. Pep was managing the greatest Barca or the best team we've ever seen. Yeah. Ancelotti was still doing his thing. He was the highest paid manager in the world.
Yeah, but,
why?
But that's the thing with Arsene Wenger.
Get Dow's opinion. I want to get Dow's opinion. But I'm going to throw a spanner right in the works here. Dow, what do you think, mate? Should he have a statue? Was he Wenger?
From what I've learned today, winning 6 titles in 8 seasons, that's pretty incredible. George Graham, statue. Better than Wenger? Not for me, because I've never seen George Graham. So I got to say Wenger for me, because that's what I've witnessed. And, you know, I've seen Thierry Henry under Wenger. I've seen Dennis Bergkamp, 2 of the best Arsenal players ever under Wenger. Not trying to take away from Merson or Paul Smith or anybody, but I just didn't really, there was no football here in the States in 1991. Like I said, unless you were watching the crap American national team or something play friendly. So for me, it's Arsene Wenger, just because of the transformation that he did in the style of football, which you guys said was, a bit different than George Graham's, but not entirely different. And I just, that's the team I watched. I watched Dennis Bergkamp. He's the main reason why I followed Arsenal. And then of
best
course,
player we've ever had, mate.
But from what I've learned today from you guys talking, to be honest, he sounds like he was a lot more of a all-around just better manager, than Arteta currently. And for that time period, it just sounds like he was the best of the best. And I didn't know he even played for Arsenal in the 70s, so I learned something new today too.
He was our captain, Dal. He was our captain. George Graham was our captain.
And so
back in the day.
Like more of more Arsenal grown than obviously Arsene Wenger coming from France and Japan. But someone put in the chat that Arsene Wenger had Hendon did the connections to the Clairefontaine Academy, which I knew about too. Obviously, with all the French players and the French contingent, and that's what I liked watching in the late 90s, early 2000s, was a lot of these upcoming French players. But just overall, I don't know. Unfortunately, I just never really saw George Graham play or coach Arsenal. So I've got to be thankful, but he deserves a statue from what you guys are saying.
The thing is, before I wrap this up, I've got to go live for somebody else in literally 12 minutes. Herbert Chapman has got a statue, right? Herbert Chapman. He changed the face of football, and it's his WM formation is still played today, right? But he didn't win anywhere near in the time he was at Arsenal what George Graham did. Fact. Right. Arsenal went on and won 3 league trophies on the bounce, right? They weren't all won by Herbert Chapman.
Allison, yeah, but I think
George Allison won the first, one of the 3.
He died of
pneumonia. Yeah.
The thing gets me is that if you ask any Arsenal fan from any other era, who are your 3 best ever managers, they'll say Herbert, George, and Arsene.
Yeah.
How comes one of them hasn't got a trophy?
Because he went to Spurs.
Yeah, but those people. Yeah, but you know the problem is.
I don't care what he did after Arsenal.
Yes. Didn't Herbert Chapman play for Spurs?
Yeah. Right, Jess, can I just say something? Can I just say something right now? These people, right, who say George Graham is a pariah because he went to Spurs, are the same people who who are going to support Spurs when they play Man City in the running.
Yeah.
But the thing is, social media is key, Kenny, now, yeah? Right? And you guys, you're like 10 above me, and Jez is 10 above you, yeah? And me and Dow are similar age, yeah? But this is why it works, because we're all learning on the go, yeah? And I learn from you guys and vice whatever, yeah? If I don't know something about Arsenal, instantly I come to you lot, yeah? Because you guys know it. And if you don't know it, ain't worth knowing, right? But back then, football was football. There was none of this PR. There was none of this camera phones. There was no CCTV. They were pure footballers. The pitches were crap. Yeah, the shorts were tight, riding up their bum. Pause. Yeah. Now, the shin pads are about 2 inches long. Yeah, and it's all robotic football because the stakes are higher now because of the money. I see some idiot online, earlier, he quote tweeted Sammy Mockbell about Chelsea, and about they could be done for their this and this and this, and they're struggling with FFP and profit and sustainability. And he said, I'm so glad I support a club that's not oil money, backed by oil money, doing dodgy dealings and this and that. And I'm like, bruv, I quote tweeted him, Top Gooner, 100,000 followers. I was like, another one that don't know the history of the football club. Number one, it says Fly Emirates on our t-shirt, right? So we're backed by a state because Dubai is backing that. The stadium's called Fly Emirates or the Emirates Stadium. And I think he's forgotten about Henry Norris. Yeah. But these fans don't want to learn about that. Whereas back when we were growing up, we didn't care about all of this. We let Peter Hillwood and so on and so forth, and David Dean and Fitzman and all that lot just get on with it. Yeah. We just see the football on the pitch. But the way football's gone now, with the coverage all around the globe, and the fact that the money's more now, and the fact that they're selling free shirts a season, plus all the training kits, then the sleeve sponsor, the shirt sponsor, Visit Rwanda, then the watch sponsor, the car sponsor. Now it's become more of a business rather than, we're just going to watch our team.
It's entertainment now.
Yeah, and it's, But is it entertaining watching Man City playing robotic football? They're crap, bruv. Yeah, to watch. They're great in terms of their mentality and they keep winning, but they're rubbish to watch. Yeah,
sometimes Phil Foden wasn't rubbish when he put 3 on United the other day.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, did anyone really want to watch Man City versus Newcastle the other day? We knew Newcastle are coming to park the bus.
I blew it out for the Spurs game.
I blew it out for the Girona. That game was dead, so I switched to Spurs.
It wasn't to do with Man City. It was a lot of it to do with Newcastle not turning up. I didn't think Newcastle turned up.
Yeah, but we knew they're going to do that. And this is the problem. Back in the day, Newcastle would have a go at Man City, or Man United, or Arsenal, or Liverpool. They'd have a go. Look at Liverpool 4-3 twice, back to back. Look at us 5-2 against Tottenham, back to back. Yeah, these teams would have a go. But now the more the money's infiltrated football, these players are getting an absolute king's ransom, and these players are crap, compared to what we grew up on. Yeah, you're telling me right now, well, I'm supposed to believe that these players, Doku, let me just take Doku for an example, pick any Arsenal winger, in fact, forget that, pick any Man City winger from back in the day when we were growing up, they're better than Doku. Every single one of them, every single one of them. Athletes, I like Jack Grealish and Phil Foden, but King Clancy's clear.
Yeah, but it's athletes, though. Athletes.
And that's the problem, but because the stakes are high, which is why the point tally's gone up. Yeah, whereas back in the day, you could win the league on 75 points.
Guys, I want to wrap this up shortly, guys. Thanks. We've been going for 2 hours. Jesus.
I've been going for 4.
Every ready.
This is just fuming. She's sitting there looking like a granny with her glasses on, fuming.
George Graham and the bung scandal. That's no statute. You tell me Terry Venables didn't take bungs.
No, forget that. Forget that, Jez. Forget that. Easy way to put this in the bin. And big up to Lee Bush. Yeah, good first name. Yeah, but let me put him in the bush. Right? Arsenal just did it in a different way, mate. Yeah, Arsenal did it in a different way. My man was getting paid a percentage of the profit he sold players for. And indirectly, that was pay rises. Yeah? How can you be the highest paid manager in the world when prime Barca Pep, and Jose, and Ancelotti and Fergie are doing their thing, but he's the highest paid manager in the world? Why? Because he was making the club an absolute fortune. Here you go, Arsenal. Have another 3 million from 8 to 11.
Fact, guys. It's been a great show. It's gone down a different road. It's been a great show. Talked about the 91. I'm going to do one next week as we've got no football. Lee, it must be driving you bloody mental with no watch-alongs and all.
No, don't worry, man. I'm going to do Cyprus, Gibraltar. No, I'm joking. I'm not.
Hey, Lee, you got Spain versus Brazil next week. You got no excuses.
I've got Romania versus Colombia. Northside's misses Colombia and mine's Romanian.
Fair enough.
What are you saying? You're going to beat Colombia? She's saying no. She ain't confident. Yeah.
Alexis.
But no, there's watch-alongs. I'm going to do a watch-along tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know who I'm doing tomorrow, but I'll be the next 3 or 4 days. I'm doing watch-alongs.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Kenny, mate, please shout out where we can find you on the Insta.
You can find me on Instagram at KennyKen1972, and I'm going to join the international break because I love watching international football. I've got some games to watch. I've got Spain versus Brazil. I've got Brazil, England. Belgium, England. I've got Italy versus the USA. I can't wait for that. So, and I've got Germany are playing France and they're playing Holland. How can I enjoy those games, eh?
Oh, brilliant.
Good luck to you, mate. I won't be watching any of it. Personally, I just think it's an absolute shit show in the fact that this time of the season, when Arsenal are in contention and we've now got to sit back like we did last year. Yeah. And I've got no time for it. Sorry. I get it if it's qualification for a competition, but it's just friendlies. What's the point? Come on. Dow, mate,
yes, sir.
Shout yourself out.
Well, you can find me Friday on the American Idiots Show with this gentleman here in the black hoodie this Friday.
With this idiot.
We'll fix that up. Yeah. And Jez, thanks for having me on again. I was just kind of here as a student today just to listen to you guys talk about a brilliant 91 season and George Graham. Again, I was only 17 and Michael Jordan was my hero then, not Anders Limpar. But just saying that, the difference of the timing is, the USA, we had Michael Jordan, all the basketball, and you guys, of course, had the Arsenal. We just didn't have the telly rights then. But thanks for having me on the show, Jazz. Again, a great Wednesday. Great to see you, Kenny Ken, as always. And Lee Gunner, my brother from another mother. I will be seeing you Friday, my bro. And shout out to everyone in the chat. It was a great time. Learned a lot today. Thank you very much for being here.
Cheers, man. Always welcome. No worries about that. Lee, well, you speak for yourself. I mean, we know you like where we can find you, but please, I want you to shout it out because Lee Reacts and the Lee Gunner shows, man.
Well, I've upset Tommy Asu fans, friends of Tommy, because he signed a new contract and I've put why. So I've upset friends of Tommy, who statistically missed more games by 34 days than Kieran Tierney. But we're giving this guy a contract and there's no hype about him being always injured. But with Tierney, since Tommy signed, he's been factually less injured. But don't worry, that's on the Lee Gunner channel. I put a video out about Chelsea being financially finished, or are they, off of Stefan Borson on TalkSport's comments. So check that out on Lee Reacts. Tomorrow, I was going to record 2 videos, but wifey's rocked up. And I should have done them earlier, but I got lazy. Tomorrow, I'm doing Portugal versus Sweden on Lee Reacts. Friday, I am doing Spain versus Colombia after going on this American Idiots channel. Yeah, and I'm going to be the English idiot. And then over the weekend, I'll be doing some live watch-alongs as well for some of these dead internationals. But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the international break because I've not had a day off for about 6-7 months, and I don't plan on having one now. However, I'm enjoying not streaming. So I can just upload.
Lee, would you be serving the Euros in Germany?
No. I'm doing every game, and not only that. On the 3rd group stage game, the Copa America kicks off. Yeah. First game, Argentina at midnight. Yeah. The second game, I think, is Brazil versus to be confirmed because they ain't qualified yet. The third, midnight, after I'm live at 9 p.m. for a watch along for the third group stage game. Midnight, Ecuador, Venezuela. Yeah. I beg you, start streaming that. Yeah. Who's going to be streaming that? And then 3 a.m., Jamaica versus Mexico. We will be there, guys.
Oh, man.
I'm not seeing beach. I'm not seeing beach all summer.
Fair play, mate. I
But thanks for having me on. Big up the panel, big up the chat. Smash the like, Io de Mutante.
I respect your mate, your energy on it, mate. Lewis says, Jez, do another firm video experience. I was never part of the firms. I put it out there. I disclaimed it. I was never part of the firms. So
they liked the video though, Jez.
Sorry?
They liked you talking about it though, because your knowledge on it, because you was in that circle without being in that circle. In fact, you were watching from a distance, so they like it.
Yeah, I might do another one next week about away. I've got some away games I can talk about, so I might talk about them. But anyway, guys, I've got to go. Thanks for coming on. It's been a great chat. It's great chat about the 91. I'm going to do one next week about the 98 and the 02 teams, which were iconic. Kenny, I know you'll love it. Lee, if you can make it, because that's more your...
When Wednesday?
On a Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
I will be there. I will be there.
And if you want to join on Doubt, because that's more in your time period. Thanks, guys, for coming on. It's been a great chat. Thanks for everybody in the chat. It's been great fun. And I'm 70 away, I think, from 5K. It's like pulling teeth getting there. But
do it now. Do it now. Hijo de puta. Yeah, do it now.
It's like, I don't know. It's like hitting a brick wall and getting there.
Just stop looking at it. I was doing the same. Yeah, that last 100 to 25 on the other channel, I was looking at it every day. It winds you up. Stop looking at it.
It's mad. It's madness. Madness. First thing in the morning, I look at it. Oh no.
Yeah, it's jarring. Mate, I've lost about 50 subs today on the other channel because I called Tommy Asu out saying, why should he get a contract? Who cares? Yeah, just stop looking at it.
It's mad.
The numbers will, the math will math.
It'll happen.
We're out of here, people. Do the outro, and thanks for everybody watching. It's been a great show. And thank you to my esteemed guests, Kenny, Lee, Dow.
Southgate out.